Hello and wagwan y'all, it's Dimz. Now that the Alpha Lab test of 2xKO has come to an end, I want to give my thoughts on it since I was able to efficiently play the game now. And looking at the features, gameplay, and everything that was revealed about the game for the Evo build. But I did not feel comfortable of talking about the gameplay of the game because I didn't get to play it much. Now I have. The Alpha Lab of 2xKO lasted for about a week, which is a great feeling more than just a weekend playtest. I was able to actually play it for like 10 to 12 hours. Wasn't able to do like 24-hour live streams of the game. It was a really busy time for me at work, and being understaffed sucks because when you're a great worker, you're just rewarded with more work. But I digress. Now with the playtest over, I'm ready to give my feedback on the game. I've already given my written feedback on the game, for the survey test and such, so I'm going to now make that into basically a video form. I'll talk about my likes, dislikes, and my gripes about the game and try to make it as constructive as possible because I still believe this game has a lot of potential. So first things first, the menu and the UI. Now, I'm gonna admit it, I'm one of the people who got lost with the UI and the menu when I first booted up the game. I just didn't understand it. It was not really user friendly for me. Even though there's a giant button that just says fight, I, was looking for all the other options, but a lot of them was hidden under fight while scrolling through the under fight options. And that didn't make intuitive sense to me. I got used to it, but it did take a second, so I understand when people says that they did not like the start menu UI. I was lost too. However, I did enjoy the customization for your avatar. I thought it was really cool and it was pretty in depth. Most games will just let you choose one of the playable characters, which is serviceable and fine enough, but now you can make your own character and they have a slew of options. I do like that. And since we're on the topic, let's touch on the in-game lobby avatar, that little thing. It's in most fighting games where you just walk around as chibi versions of the characters and just walk up to a cabinet and play. And this is not really for me, but I feel like 2xKO does it the best. And yeah, that's about it. It's pretty okay. You can run around, jump and, do little mini challenges, I guess, in the lobby. But again, not for me, whatever. Alright, let's actually get started with talking about the gameplay. And the first thing I want to say is, this is one of the fighting games that just immediately didn't click with me. I wasn't immediately good at it. And what I mean by that is that it took me a minute to understand the cadence of the game, of how to play and what to do and what I should be doing. Now, I'm not going to say this has never happened to me in a fighting game, but it's been a while since this happened to me. So it was a weird and refreshing experience to actually learn the game from scratch. Speaking of learning the game, this game is not made for beginners to fighting games. It's actually pretty difficult. I feel like this game was made for fighting game fans and not just new players. No matter how much they try to simplify the mechanics, I feel like they made it a bit more complex. Now, what I mean by that is they took out motion inputs and replaced everything with command normals. So I thought it was going to be simpler. But with all the extra buttons and actions and combinations of things you can do, real fast, let's look at Braum and his special one. With Braum's special one, if you just hit neutral S1, you're gonna get a concussive blast. But if you have a frozen shield, you get a projectile that freezes the opponent. But if you hit forward special one, you get a poro throw, which is his projectile. But if you hold the special one and hit forward, then you get a different arc of the projectile. But then if you hit down in special one, you get a whole new command grab. And listen, that's a lot just for one button to do all these actions. Then you have to think, hey, you have 2 special buttons, and then you have 4 other buttons that does an assortment of different actions that combines with each other. That's quite a bit for a new player to grasp. So when they say that this game was made for new players, I'm not really buying it. Especially since I, as a seasoned player, had troubles navigating and pianoing my inputs to a certain way to remember and do all these actions myself. Now, I'm not telling them to change this, but I think motion inputs would have been simpler. Now let's talk about the characters. Honestly, the characters all felt unique and actually really good. I felt like they really used their source material to make you feel like you're actually playing these characters how they would play in a fighting game. And they were really fun to pilot. My main team was Braum and Ahri. Braum because I usually play the bruiser characters, and Ahri because she has a broken assist. Yeah, the only thing about, having little time to play, I didn't have enough time to explore each of the characters. I just knew Braum, and Braum fit my playstyle. I didn't really have time to actually learn a different character or, see if they actually fit with Braum or fit with me. So I just picked Ahri because she has an amazing assist. Here's my quick overview of all 6 characters and my perceived strength of them. I feel like Alawi feels the weakest out of this set of 6 characters, mostly because she needs a tentacle on screen to get her gameplay started, and also I don't feel like the other 5 really complement her as a duo. I feel like if she had a character that really complements her gameplay style, that she would shine way better than what she is now. I feel that Yasuo and Braum are like the most balanced characters out of this 6, or like they feel like themselves, and I feel like they're pretty much realized to this point. And I also like that Yasuo can do double supers on his own. It's kind of really cool that some characters just can do double supers. Then I feel that Echo is fundamentally the best out of these 6 characters. Like, we already know that the top team was Echo Ahri, but fundamentally, like, he's just really good with not that much BS that you would see get nerfed in the future. Like, he's really good, but you gotta put some time into him. I feel that Ahri's grabbing most people's ire, mostly because her assist. Her assist is crazy good, and it's definitely going to get tuned down or changed, but it is crazy good, and her gameplay style is pretty one note, since she can confirm off of her little orb, and that's basically her main poking tool and just her main feeler, and she can just really convert everything off of it. I feel like that's going to change. Now Darius. I feel like Darius was flying under the radar for a bit, but he feels like a heavy with high health, a lot of damage, but he's just really fast from movement speed to some, attacks. And not only, he has attacks, he already has knowledge checks, and he can just dish out damage. And so much so that most people who was running Darius was running double down, which, that means you can DHC super to super, and he just dishes out damage so much. And, like, no penalty. He's already fast, dishes damage, then he makes you bleed and can chip sequence you. Yeah, Darius, a little overtuned. Now, like I said, I still think that Echo is fundamentally the best character, but God, Darius is a giant beat stick. He's gonna change, but God. Speaking of damage, the damage in the Alpha Lab was pretty darn high. It was pretty darn volatile. People were getting 2-touched, and that really sucks. Mostly because getting 2-touched was pretty darn easy because you just got reset once. If someone runs a sequence on you and they just reset you in the sequence that you just didn't know of, you just lost a character. And they'll just loop that for the next character as well. So, that kind of sucks. Damage is a little high. I don't feel like there's enough defensive mechanics. Or, you know what? Look, you only got 1 burst per round. He was guaranteed 1 burst per round. I think they should up that to at least 2 bursts a round. Mostly because, that 1 burst you have, if you get burst baited, you explode. And then you don't get burst for the rest of the whole round. After you just exploded and lost a character. I feel like they should just give you 2 bursts around. Ooh, just a small thing. Taunting in the game. In 2xKO, you can taunt by clicking in the right stick or pressing R3 and a direction. Each of the 4 different directions has a different taunt to them. Now, in between rounds at the start, your character will taunt if you just hit any of the 4 directions. You don't even have to hit R3. I kinda don't like this, but I also do like it. I want it to be more deliberate. And it's only because in between round, a lot of people just like to button check, as in hit all their attack buttons and hit all their motions, just to keep their hands warm and keep their buttons loose and stuff. I don't want to always be taunting when I don't mean to. So I would like in 2xKO, if you take away the auto taunts or just by hitting direction in between round and just allow you to press taunt, as in allow you to press R3 in direction in between rounds to just do a taunt. So that way I know if my opponent is taunting me in between rounds, I know it's deliberate. Like they meant to do it. It wasn't like they're trying to just keep their hands warm. Like they want to taunt. Whether it's a good or bad one, it depends on the direction. Okay, let's see. Combo length. Are combos too long? No. But yes, here's my experience. If we are just looking at the combo counter, no, combos are not too long because they're not doing so much hits. But if we're going by game feel, yes, combos are long. And the one thing I keep running into when I felt like the combo is longer than what the combo counter said is mostly because every time I was in a combo and I felt like the combo would end because they hit me with something that looks like I was hard knocked down, they would pick me back up again and continue the combo. And that really just threw my brain for a loop because my brain sees that I got hit by a certain move and it looks like my character is down, like hard knocked down. So I was like, okay, I'm ready to get up and try to guess and try to handle their Oki. But then I get hit again and then I get picked back up. And I'm like, oh, I guess it's not over. When that happens over and over and over, yeah, you're gonna feel like, yeah, the combos are way too long. And I feel like they should change that. I feel like when you get hit by a certain move and it looks like you're hard knocked down, that means, you're just down. They can't pick you up unless they have specific moves that OTGs. And for my next point, the fuse system. From my last video where I did talk about the fuse system, it was mostly speculation, mostly from me just playing a little bit of the game. Now that I have more time with the game, I can really get in depth with the fuse system, and my thoughts and feelings has not changed from my last video. Links in the description. What I really feel about the fuse system is basically, if we are only going to get these few set of fuses, which most likely we are not since this is going to be a forever game and they're probably going to add more fuses, I say just go ahead, like I mentioned in my last video, and combine most of these fuses and just make it into core mechanics, but with tiny stipulations here and there. Like one of those stipulations being like 2x assist, like everyone can call assist multiple times. However, the second time you call the assist, that assist character loses a half a bar meter for every single extra call of an assist after the first. Granted, they will have to balance the game for this because a lot of people who ran Echo Ari and did 2x assists, with Ari's assist that didn't scale right, that caused a little problems. Obviously, they need to, balance, which they will do. One thing that I kind of did like about the fuse system was that it seems like fuses were more tied to characters than actual playstyles of people. Anyone who was running Yasuo will always run freestyle because the way that Yasuo could set up the incoming giant beam blade that he does with his wind wall. I thought that was pretty cool because you usually just saw teams, and when you saw the certain teams, you saw them that they was using certain certain fuses. But overall, my feelings on the fuse system still stays the same. I don't think the fuse system is varied enough to actually change playstyles. I feel like they just ripped out core mechanics that are normally supposed to be in tag fighters and just made it a select one option. I still think the most varied options you have with your fuses is the Fury fuse and the Pulse fuse. The other three fuses, I believe you can just make it core mechanics, especially if they are going to add more fuses in the future. Because if they're going to add more fuses in the future, we're really going to feel that decision fatigue, and a lot of people might be a little bit overwhelmed with all the options that they can run. Soon enough, they will just have to consolidate that. Why not just start off with consolidating it now, making a lot of the fuses just core mechanics so players can just choose whether to do a double super or not, and then they can get crazy and really varied with more fuses in the future. This game has the potential to be very crazy. We've already seen that in the Alpha Lab, and that's kind of an inherent thing with tag fighters, because with all the options you have, with all the team combos, team synergies, and just everything in between, especially with the fuse system, this game is going to get nuts. especially since down the line we're going to get way more characters, way more character abilities, possibly way more fuses, and just way more people playing the game with different ways of thinking. This game is going to be nuts, and I'm all here for it. Now for the big question. After playing the Alpha Lab, am I sold on this game? Am I gung-ho and ready to go all in on this game? Honestly, not quite yet. And that is only because I don't have a character yet. Yes, there was only 6 characters to play from, and yes, I thought Braum was pretty darn cool. But, you know, he was serviceable. I am going to wait till I actually find a character in this game. And not only a character, I'm going to need 2 characters to make a team. And then I think that's when I'm going to really have fun with this game. And so far, I just haven't seen that character yet. But that's just me personally. And in all honesty, that's a pretty good high praise that I enjoy the game so much that I want to play it more. And the only thing that would stop me from, playing it immediately is a character crisis. So I'm excited for 2XKO. I'm excited for its potential, but it can still fumble the bag in other areas. It's a whole wait and see thing for me. And from what I've played so far, I did really enjoy the game. And I hope if you did get into the Alpha Lab that you enjoyed it too. And if you did not, I want you to make your voices heard and let them know what you didn't enjoy and what they could improve on. Because it seems like they are listening and taking feedback into account really heavily. So just make sure you get all your grievances out there, wherever you can, wherever they want it. Now, with that all said, I have been Dimz, and you all have a great day.